When the mind becomes turbulent, when thoughts scatter like leaves in an autumn storm, and when the usual remedies of distraction and busyness have failed to bring solace, there exists a timeless wisdom that speaks directly to the troubled heart. This wisdom, articulated with profound clarity by Paramahansa Yogananda, offers not merely philosophical comfort but practical pathways toward the restoration of inner peace. It is a wisdom that recognizes the nature of mental disturbance not as an affliction to be feared, but as an invitation to deeper understanding and spiritual awakening. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, give me a like, comment below about your thought and hit subscribe button so you don't miss any video inspired by Yogananda's teaching. Thank you very much. The modern mind finds itself perpetually besieged. External circumstances demand our attention relentlessly. The endless stream of information, the pressures of daily life, the anxieties about past failures and future uncertainties. Yet Yogananda teaches us that the true source of our disturbance does not lie in these external circumstances alone. Rather, it emerges from our relationship with these circumstances, from the patterns of thought and emotion we habitually reinforce. When the mind is disturbed, what we truly require is not a change in our external situation, but a fundamental shift in our internal orientation toward life itself. Yogananda's central teaching revolves around the concept of self-realization, the direct experience of one's eternal, unchanging nature beneath the surface turbulence of thoughts and emotions. This teaching is neither abstract nor inaccessible. It speaks to a fundamental human capacity, the ability to step back from the churning waters of mental activity and touch the still, deep places within consciousness where perfect peace resides. When your mind is disturbed, Yogananda suggests, this is precisely the moment to cultivate this deeper awareness. The practice he recommends begins with understanding that consciousness is not merely a product of brain activity, but a fundamental dimension of existence itself. Just as the surface of the ocean can be violently disturbed by storms while the depths remain serene, so too can our surface consciousness be turbulent while our deeper nature remains untouched. This recognition alone offers relief, the understanding that disturbance is not total, that beneath it lies an unchanging tranquility. You are not your disturbed thoughts, you are the awareness in which those thoughts appear. Yogananda teaches specific practices for accessing this deeper awareness, practices he learned through his guru Swami Sri Yukteswar and through his own intensive spiritual disciplines. Meditation, he explains, is not a means of forcing the mind into quietness, nor is it about achieving any particular state. Rather, it is a return home to what has always been present. When you sit in meditation, releasing the grip of demanding thoughts and allowing awareness to settle into its own nature, you discover that peace is not something you must create or acquire. It is what remains when you stop creating disturbance through restless mental activity. The practice of Kriya Yoga, which Yogananda taught as a central technique for spiritual development, works with the life force itself. This practice recognizes that the energy of consciousness, what Yogananda calls prana, typically disperses outward through the senses into the world of external stimulation. Through specific breathing and meditative techniques, this dispersed energy is gathered and directed inward, toward the spiritual centers within the body and consciousness. When energy that was previously scattered through worry, anxiety, and compulsive thinking is redirected inward, the mind naturally becomes calm, and a profound peace emerges almost effortlessly. But Yogananda's teachings extend far beyond technique. He emphasizes that true peace comes from recognizing the divine nature of existence itself. Every circumstance, every person, every event in our lives is, in his view, an expression of divine intelligence. When the mind is disturbed by apparent problems or difficulties, Yogananda would suggest that we have temporarily lost sight of this deeper reality. The very things that disturb us are, in truth, opportunities for spiritual growth, invitations to expand our consciousness and deepen our understanding of life's essential nature. This perspective transforms our relationship with difficulty. Rather than seeing disturbance as an enemy to be overcome, we begin to understand it as a teacher. When anxiety arises about the future, we might ask, what am I being taught about my tendency to identify with outcomes I cannot control? When anger disturbs our peace, we might inquire, what aspect of myself am I rejecting or refusing to accept? When grief overwhelms us, we recognize, what am I learning about the nature of attachment and the transience of all forms? Through this reflective engagement, disturbance becomes a gateway to wisdom rather than simply a symptom to be medicated away. Yogananda also teaches the importance of cultivating certain mental qualities as preventatives to unnecessary disturbance. Equanimity, the capacity to remain centered regardless of external circumstances, is developed through conscious practice. He suggests that we observe successful people not by their emotional reactions to events, but by their ability to meet whatever arises with a calm, creative intelligence. They have developed what he calls mental discipline, the capacity to direct attention consciously rather than being swept along by reactivity. Cultivating a constant awareness of divine presence throughout daily life is another of Yogananda's recommendations. He suggests that we live our lives as if every moment were sacred, as if we were perpetually in the presence of something infinitely greater and wiser than our individual minds. This is not naive optimism or denial of real difficulties. Rather, it is a conscious choice to maintain awareness of a dimension of reality that transcends any particular problem or disturbance. When the mind becomes disturbed, this awareness acts like an anchor, preventing us from being completely submerged in the turbulent waters of emotion and thought. One of Yogananda's most powerful teachings addresses the nature of desire and attachment. He observes that much of our mental disturbance stems from frustrated desires, our wanting things to be other than they are. The mind becomes disturbed when reality refuses to conform to our preferences. His teaching is not that we should eliminate all desires, but that we should examine them carefully. Which desires arise from a genuine need, and which arise from a false identification with the ego's endless grasping. When we align our desires with deeper principles, with truth, with service, with the expansion of consciousness, disturbance naturally diminishes because we are no longer fighting against the fundamental grain of existence. He also teaches the transformative power of service and love. When the individual mind becomes too focused on its own problems and disturbances, this very focus amplifies the disturbance. But when attention is directed outward toward others with genuine compassion and a sincere desire to serve, the mind becomes absorbed in something larger than its own turbulence. The very energy that was creating disturbance through self-preoccupation becomes transmuted into creative action and genuine connection. This is not escapism, it is a redirection of energy toward what is genuinely healing and meaningful. Yogananda speaks frequently about the importance of faith, not blind belief, but faith grounded in direct experience of the spiritual dimension of existence. He suggests that many people suffer unnecessarily because they approach life with a fundamental doubt about whether it is ultimately safe and meaningful. This doubt, often unconscious, creates a chronic low-level disturbance in the mind. When through meditation, prayer, and sincere spiritual practice we begin to experience directly that our existence is upheld by an intelligence far greater than our individual minds, this fundamental doubt transforms into trust. With trust, many of the worries and anxieties that disturbed us lose their grip. The teachings also emphasize the importance of living in alignment with natural laws, both the laws of physics and the deeper spiritual laws that govern consciousness. When we live against these laws, disturbance inevitably follows. For instance, if we abuse the body through poor nutrition and lack of exercise, mental disturbance frequently follows. If we engage in dishonest or harmful actions, guilt and anxiety disturb the mind. If we isolate ourselves from genuine human connection, loneliness disturbs our peace. Yogananda teaches that living ethically and healthfully is not merely a moral requirement. It is fundamentally a matter of mental health and spiritual well-being. He also recognizes the power of beauty, music, and nature in calming the disturbed mind. Yogananda himself was moved by beautiful music and often wept at the expression of divine love through artistic creation. He recognized that when consciousness encounters beauty, whether through music, nature, or genuine human kindness, something in us that has been contracted opens and expands. In these moments, disturbance often simply dissolves because our awareness shifts from the narrow concerns of the individual self to a recognition of something universal and eternally beautiful. Perhaps most importantly, Yogananda teaches that the disturbed mind is an indication that we have wandered from our true nature. Just as a fish out of water experiences distress, so the human consciousness separated from awareness of its spiritual nature becomes disturbed. The path back to peace is not a path away from the world but a path deeper into the true nature of the self. Through meditation, through conscious living, through service, through the cultivation of love and equanimity, through the recognition that our individual consciousness is rooted in and inseparable from universal consciousness, we gradually re-establish our connection with the source of all peace. When your mind is disturbed, Yogananda's teaching suggests, you possess everything you need to return to peace. You need not wait for external circumstances to change. You need not depend on others to comfort or fix you. Instead, you are invited to turn your attention inward, to remember who you truly are beneath the surface turbulence, and to reconnect with the eternal peace that is your deepest nature. This is not a promise of escape from life's challenges, but rather a promise of a fundamentally different relationship with those challenges, one characterized by wisdom, compassion, and unshakable inner peace. In listening to these teachings, in practicing the disciplines they suggest, and in aligning our lives with the principles they embody, we discover that the disturbance itself becomes a gateway to the very peace we have been seeking all along.